Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we are here once again on Le Mans Ultimate. Now, the day this video goes live is the final opportunity you're gonna have to buy this game as early access, or the initial price for early access. Here in the UK, that is £24.99. I believe it's like 28 or 30 euros, and then like $35, I want to say. As of tomorrow, the 1st of October, the game price will be going up about £4 or €5 or dollars if you still want to enjoy early access. So today, we're answering an all-important question. Should you buy Le Mans Ultimate? Yes. Save yourself a few pennies and enjoy the game whilst they're still building on it. And to put it pretty simply, I honestly am going to say yes. And I think, to try and explain that, we're going to have to talk through now. First of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for the support we had on the video last week out. Having a look at the Pack 2 DLC for Le Mans Ultimate. That was really, really good fun. And, I do want to get back on this game a bit more. I am certainly enjoying it as well at the moment. Now, I think there's still a little bit of confusion for some people as to what is included inside the game, obviously, when you just buy, without the DLC or anything like that. So you get access to the 2023 season and all of the cars and tracks that are included in that. So you can see, obviously, if you head over to Championship, in the base version of the game, you get access to Sebring, Algarve, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, Circuit de 24-Hour Le Mans, obviously Monza, Fuji, and last but not least, Bahrain. So 7 tracks obviously included in the game to begin with. Of course, obviously, if you take a look at the bonus tracks, these are obviously ones that I've purchased outside of that. So those are the tracks you get with the game as default. All of them are laser scanned. All of them are brilliant fun. I've done a bit of driving on all of them inside this game. And then car-wise, again, you obviously get the Cadillac. You get the Ferrari, if I'm not mistaken. And then I want to say the Porsche, Toyota, and Van Wall. The Peugeot and the Glickenhaus are paid DLC cards. No, you do get all of these, don't you? From 2023 inside the game as base. You obviously also get the LMP2 car and all of its variations between Orica and obviously the different power units I believe you get between a few of them as well. Obviously most of them use the Gibson, but I believe there are still a couple that use the Mechachrome engine as well there, if I'm not mistaken as well. I just cannot appear to find them as of this second as well there. And last but not least, you do get all of the GTE cars, of course. GTE is dead now, officially. Obviously, they've moved over to LMGT3. We're still waiting from those to come to the game. I will be doing a video on that when they do release in the not-too-distant future. So, yeah, definitely get yourself subbed for that. So, obviously, yeah, you've got the Corvette, you've got the Aston Martin, the Ferrari, and the Porsche. So, you get a pretty good kind of Le Mans experience, if you will, with the game straight out of the box. Like I said, seven tracks. A variation of about 15 cars with a few kind of iterations there. Obviously, all of the official liveries and drivers and everything else from 2023. But obviously, what they've confirmed at Studio 397 or Motorsport Games or anything like that, whatever we're calling them this week, is that obviously the price now is going to be incrementally moving on up each and every time. So as more and more content gets released to the game, as more and more fixes come, that game price is only going to get more expensive. Now, I will caveat my initial talk of, yes, you should buy the game. It will probably go on sale at some point in the not-too-distant future. I expect it to go up to $28.99, and then very quickly at some point, whether that's at Christmas or Halloween, it go back down to 25 quid again. And kind of all this early access talk is basically for nothing. But I don't believe... Now, I can't say this with any confidence. I've got no detail from the developers or anything like that. They wouldn't even send me over a game code for this game when it first launched as well. So I've got no kind of working relationship as of right now with Motorsport Games. I don't believe they're going to undercut the £25 price range anytime soon either. So if you do want to get the game, now is still the best time to do it because I can't see it being any cheaper than it's currently available for as well. Now, obviously, the DLC is a different conversation. Obviously, I spoke about the pack in the video that we did last week as well, as to whether I think you should get that. And I think that kind of depends on whether you've played the game a bit more and everything as well there. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to dive into a race. I think today we're going to head out in... I think I've done a video in the Ferrari. I don't think I've ever done anything in the Cadillac, though, inside this game as of default. So I think we're going to take the red number 311 car here to Le Mans. We're just going to do like a 10-minute race and kind of talk through everything I feel about LMU right now. Well, here we are then at Le Mans, ready for just, you know, a 15-minute race where I can kind of talk about all the various things that I think are important inside this game. And obviously, you know, the big one, first of all, I think, you know, why do I believe that Le Mans Ultimate is kind of going to stay in the user base? Because for most people, this game is going to be about the online experience, is going to be about racing with other people. Now, I do really need to get in and actually do some online racing on this game a little bit more, because I've tried to do a couple of them very, very early on in the game. I want to kind of come back for some of the special events that they're going to be hosting as well in the not-too-distant future. And I think especially with the new co-op mode as well, if they can implement that properly, which will require a bit more testing, then hopefully that is kind of going to give this game a little bit more for, you know, team racing and things like that. Because obviously that's what endurance racing is all about. You know, they've got to get the fundamentals right with it. And it feels like they are slowly building up this game in the right direction as well there. That being said as well, obviously GTP cars now are super popular as well. You know, I think for a lot of people, GT3 was kind of the bread and butter in sim racing for such a long time. But now it's kind of... We've seen that GTP cars, you know, because of all the various sizes and shapes and engines and everything, both in real life and in sim racing, it does feel like we're kind of heading into a golden age as well, which, I think Le Mans Ultimate, their plan, of course, is just to really try and spearhead that as well. And, of course, obviously still having the exclusivity license as well over this kind of thing is super, super important for them. You know, and it will provide them with opportunities to kind of do things with it as well. There we go, green flag racing here from Le Mans. Like I said, it's only a 15-minute race we're doing today. Just kind of gives us a bit of a chance to talk about everything as well. There is already someone almost making contact with us down in towards that first corner. We're running like 90 AI, and I've set the aggression pretty high as well there, as you can already see. Well, a Peugeot banging into the side of me there, and a few other cars and things getting in our way as well there. Somehow we've navigated the first couple of corners, which I must admit I'm fairly surprised by, based on how aggressive everybody looked down in towards turn 1 as well. But yeah, I feel like there's obviously still a fair few things that Le Mans Ultimate does wrong, but they are getting more and more things right as well. And you know, I kind of remember when this game initially launched, obviously all the way back towards the start of the year. And we, you know, everyone was kind of reluctant. Everyone kind of didn't really want to, you know, kind of nail the flag to the mast or anything like that. Because I think we were all just a little bit nervous that it was just going to be a bit of a cash grab. And then it was just kind of going to not get fixed, not get edited, anything like that. And kind of leave everybody kind of 25 quid out of pocket as well there. But I think we've all been pleasantly surprised for the most part. You know, they have continued developing this game. They have continued trying to make it better and better. And obviously, if you come away from, you know, from like 6 months of not playing it, then obviously you're going to notice a huge leap forward in everything they're doing with it still. It feels like this game is always being pushed in the right direction as well. Of course, yeah, you're going to get little bugs and things with each new update that comes to the title, but it feels like they're pretty on top of it and obviously able to patch out a lot of issues that the game has, you know, temporarily inside the title as well there. And obviously, you know, just slowly but surely, like I said, you know, I haven't been given a copy of this game. I spent my own money on it and everything like that. Slowly but surely, they have, you know, built up more and more confidence kind of in the user base and the audience as well. Obviously, we know R Factor 2 as obviously, you know, completely, you know, this game is built on R Factor 2. I honestly did think at one point that we might just get a DLC for that game that kind of was like a Le Mans DLC, like we saw with the British Touring Cars and a few other bits and pieces where they were meant to bring a full game to it. I'm still waiting for a BTCC game or an IndyCar game Obviously, the IndyCar game definitely isn't happening now. But, yeah, obviously just kind of seeing other kind of series as well. And, you know, I think Motorsport Games, of course, originally had kind of set us up with this idea of a motorsport utopia. That we'd need to buy a different game each time. But, you know, they were going to be sort of 30 quid rather than, you know, AAA games now are over 60. Now, obviously, we've still only had one kind of R-Factor-ish built game try to come to console. And that was NASCAR Ignition. Yeah, I think the less we talk about that one, the better. But obviously that was a different development team and everything else as well. Obviously, you know, this game, they are still planning on bringing it to console in the future. And obviously when, or if that game does ever come out, or when it comes out, I will potentially have a look at it as well on the console experience, just see what it's like. Because obviously if they can get driver swaps working in a console game, I think that's going to be a big game changer. Genuinely, I think that is going to be a game changer for other, you know, for other console games as well. There's been yellow flags out temporarily through that final corner. Not too sure what that was all about. But yeah, looks like everybody in front of us is just starting to spread out just a little bit as well. Now, you'll notice, even as I'm kind of talking about everything with this game, I'm trying not to stay too committed. You know, too committed to everything they say they want to do with it. And everything like that. You know, Motorsport Games I still feel have got a long way to go kind of before they kind of instill confidence in everybody. I know a lot of people that simply have not touched this game yet because, you know, it's made by Motorsport Games and either they don't want to support the developers or anything like that. Now, ultimately, you know, up to a certain point, if a game's a good game, if it's playable, if it's fun, then, you know, when it comes to something like that, then I will play it. Now, luckily, I did actually get access to NASCAR Ignition before the game released. I didn't have to pay for that one, and I certainly would have been requesting a refund on that game. On Le Mans Ultimate, I've had the opportunity to request a refund on this, and I kind of looked at it at one point, and I kind of thought, you know what? I've parted ways with my £25. I feel that still, even now, obviously I've parted away with even more money now. I've obviously bought all the DLC for this title as well. I've obviously bought the kind of the Ultimate Pack, I think it's called, for £40 as well. I don't honestly ever feel that that has been a waste of money. Now, maybe I don't play this game as much as I should still. You know, I am trying to start playing it a little bit more. So, just get the moment there up over the grass. That was not ideal. But I am impressed. Gently. You know, I'm going to say it was a low bar originally that I'm impressed with. But I am impressed with kind of the development team, everything else there. I'm also impressed with that reverse entry down in towards Mulsanne Corner. But, yeah, I think we all kind of thought this game was not even going to get to where it has. And ultimately, it's still here, 6 months later. They're bringing more and more content to it. I think we'd all kind of said those first 6 months were going to be the most difficult, were going to be the most telling for this title. Now, like I said, obviously, it's only £4 the price is going up by. If you're still not fully convinced by this title, or, you know, you're kind of umming and ahhing about it still, then don't. You know, it's not a you need to buy this game now kind of thing. It's one of those ones where I'm kind of there going, I don't believe, you know, at Christmas it's suddenly going to be 50% off and you'll be able to get it for 14 quid. And then everyone is going to be there going, you know, I paid £25. I was promised this was going to be the cheapest price it was going to be. I can see them doing 10% off over Christmas or Halloween or anything like that. Whenever kind of the Steam sales roll around, or even Black Friday. I can see them kind of doing that with it. And it kind of coming back down to, well, that would be £25.20. So, you know, I do believe they're not going to screw us over. You know, everybody that's already bought the game, Ferrari has absolutely mugged me off. We'll try and do the same back to him on the exit of the corner, which we just about will. I do believe this is going to be the cheapest the game's going to be. Now, if £4 is a worry to you, you know, say you're in another part of the world, currency, things like that, I'm well aware, obviously, about kind of those limitations that you get in other parts of the world, you know, where £4 or $5 or €5 or whatever is a bigger difference for you then if it's kind of a, you gotta kind of decide now or never, I would say go for it. This game is good fun, especially if, career mode, is interesting as well. Obviously, you don't quite get like a full-scale championship or anything like that still. I did actually consider doing a full-scale career mode on this game, and I might do so in 2025 as well. Maybe racing, say do a season as GTE, then a season in LMP2, then a season in Hypercar. There is, someone's binned it in front, and I've got to follow them. Ferrari's gone round, and I've got to follow them as we just about keep it out the wall, out onto the back straight there. Not too sure what that was all about, but things suddenly getting a little bit crazy as well there, as we try and get ourselves out onto the back straight. But yeah, I think at this point they have done enough for me personally, but I feel like I can justify this title, where I feel like I can say to you guys now that this game is worth picking up if you're interested in endurance racing. If you're, if you follow World Endurance, things like that, then absolutely. If you're not, why would you, why would you check this game out? Obviously, the GT3 cars, I think they're going to be interesting when they come to the sim as well, because obviously then that'll really be, you're competing with ACC, you're competing with iRacing, in a big market there as well. But ultimately, at the moment, GTP cars, you obviously get them on iRacing as well. They're brilliant fun on that sim. I would say they still feel slightly better on iRacing. Of course, the main reason I picked the Cadillac for this video was obviously I did Le Mans 24 a couple of months ago now on iRacing. It doesn't quite feel as good as iRacing, but remember, the Cadillac on that game, or the Cadillac and Le Mans alone on that game, would be £25 nearly. That's obviously for an entire game here at the moment. So, as always, the big debate about value for money comes back in whenever you try and compare anything to iRacing. Now, obviously the GT3 experience, we don't know yet how that's going to be. I'm not expecting it to be better than Assetto Corsa Competizione. I feel like for a lot of people, if you're waiting for it for a GT3 experience, then maybe it'll surprise us in this, in the way that kind of this game has generally still surprised me a little bit. But yeah, I think, if you had to kind of decide if you wanted it purely for GT3 racing between this and Assetto Corsa Competizione, then, I'm going to guess right now that ACC is going to be the game to pick up as well there. That's another one I desperately need to jump back into as well. I need to do some LFN or some various other kind of community racing as well. I need to just do more community racing on various sim racing titles as and when I get the time as well in the future. But obviously I've driven the GT3s, I've driven the GTEs even, I've driven the LMP2s on this game. All of them kind of drive as I would expect, all of them out of the box feel fairly good. Now I know setup on this game can be very important, of course, again, where this title is based on R Factor. Then, tyres are everything as well. You've got to be careful you don't pinch them or overheat them or anything like that too often either. But, yeah, it feels, like I said, for £25 still, this game right now feels good enough. Now, would I recommend it for £28? Again, it's such a small difference that I think if you haven't watched this video on the day it's gone live and you're kind of going, oh no, I've missed out now and I really want to play it, just get it anyway. It'll be good fun. Like I said, if you're worried that much, then maybe wait for Halloween or Black Friday or Christmas. And, like I said, I think it'll go 10% off, is my best guess. And it'll basically be back down at the £25 threshold once again as well there. But this game, I'll say it, it continues every time I jump back on to positively surprise me. And I always walk away with a smile on my face. And ultimately, for a sim racing title right now in 2024, with the way things have kind of gone with various games, that's a pretty good thing, to be honest. We've kind of seen F1 24 has been a bit of a letdown. Obviously, all the licensing issues, not that that's been iRacing's fault, have kind of, stumped that a little bit. Forza Motorsport, I've never even bought that game. The idea that a huge developer like Microsoft can bring out a game so unpolished and broken, and it felt like it was a downgrade on Forza Motorsport 7. There was already a downgrade on Forza Motorsport 6 as well. And obviously I loved those games as well. in the most recent years. Gran Turismo 7, it still continues to be fairly positive as well. That's another one that I want to play a bit more of as well in the coming weeks and months, as I feel like I'm actually getting slightly quicker at the moment. I mean, this is the Glickenhaus, so I would expect to be, as quick as them, but obviously, World Endurance, like I said, it's exploded in popularity in recent times. It is, becoming more and more, I think, where we've had so many people get into Formula 1, now kind of a lot of those people have kind of realized they love motorsport, but Formula 1 isn't always everything it's cracked up to be. I think, yeah, Le Mans, World Endurance, everything like that is in a really, really good place into the future as well. And if they can keep doing the right thing with this game, then I think it will kind of stay in that space, stay relevant for a few years to come. And obviously, if they can keep the licensing and everything like that, and obviously continue to provide decent, good updates, and continue to, improve and fix and patch and do more and more with this title, obviously, how old is ACC now? Like 4 or 5 years old? Might be older than that, I think. I want to say it was the end of 2019, but I could be wrong. I don't see a reason why Le Mans Ultimate can't still, remain relevant in 5 years or so from now, as I've pressed a button. I've scheduled a pit stop. I don't know what button I pressed. Oh, I put my limiter on. What on earth did I press? I'm stuck on a different camera angle and I don't know how. It wasn't that one, was it? What button was it? What have I done? Oh no! I've gone and broken the game. Can I change back to another option? Hey, I've unrequested me pit stop. I've nudged the wall now as well. Luckily, I think I disabled damage for this one. I did not want the Forza experience. Oh, there we go. It's that one. That was nowhere near the button I thought I'd press. Oh man, yeah, that's the other thing as well with this game that I haven't given enough credit for. Out-of-the-box experience. Obviously, I mentioned about R-Factor in a video I did. Oh, I threw some shade at R-Factor in a video I did a couple of weeks ago. Which button do I need for me wiper blades again? Because that's just annoying me. There we go. Wiper blades off. Out of the box, this game works really, really well. As in, much better. I was honestly expecting when this game first launched to have to spend hours sifting through menus, trying to work out what needed tweaking, what needed changing, everything like that. That hasn't been the case. It's not perfect, but no, what sim racing game, you can never kind of, when you're having to try and appeal to so many wheel and pedal and steering wheel combos and everything like that, you're never going to be able to perfect it straight off the bat. Now, I look forward to the day we get an official GTP steering wheel for one of the brands. Obviously, I know Mercedes now have got their official Formula 1 one at like £2,000. I look forward to the day we get like a Cadillac GTP or a Ferrari GTP steering wheel as well in the future. That would be really, really cool in the future as well there. But everything, out of the box. So I know obviously the Fanatec Formula V 2.5 X, I believe I've got, is, a fairly common wheel, and obviously especially, for these kind of race cars, is going to be quite a popular one. But everything works out of the box as you would expect. It's actually got quite a lot of good calibration settings and things like that. But as we find ourselves in the wall down the end of the first Mulsanne chicane, I just want to say thank you to everybody for watching this video. Like I said, let me know your thoughts and feelings on LMU down below. But yeah, like I said at the start, I think this game's got potential. I'm going to recommend it if World Endurance is something you're interested in as well there. It doesn't do a lot of things, but the things it does, I think it does really, really well. Get yourself subscribed if you're new and you did enjoy this video and want to see more various sim racing content from me. And we'll be back very soon with more sim racing content.